temperature minimum?
So the temperature minimum, you're gonna want to find the lowest on this scale right here, the temperature scale. You want the lowest among all of these dots, which is January. So January is just a little bit below the line of 30, but it's past the halfway point, which is right about there. So the temperature minimum is going to be in between the 30 and the 25 range, which is 27, the temperature minimum. Now, what's the next thing you need to get?
The temperature maximum.
The maximum the temperature maximum. So what you instead need to do is get the highest among them, which that is right pretty dead on at a little above or right at the middle of 60 and 70, which we could probably safely say is 65. So there's our minimum, that's our maximum. What else do you need?
The temperature range.
The range between these two numbers, which is going to be 65 minus 27. Do you know what that is right off the top of your head?
Of course not.
Okay, well, let's figure it out. It's 38. Okay, right there. Temp average is going to be 38. Now, what's the next thing you need?
The number of months that are below freezing.
The number of months that are below freezing. And what is the freezing temperature?
32 degrees Fahrenheit.
32 degrees, which is right about there. Is that fair to say? That's about fair to say. Okay, so number below that, okay, we got 1 in December. November got a little bit above it. And then I'd say that back over here in February is right where we hit it again, and then January is a little bit lower than December, as we concluded earlier. So the number of months below freezing, 1, 2, 3. 3 months below FRZ, freezing. Well, what else do you need?
I need to know the latitudinal range.
The latitudinal range.
Trying to find the latitudinal range.
Okay, latitudinal range. So, with that, you're going to need to both use precipitation and temperature in a weird way. So, what is the minimum of the precipitation? This will probably be useful for later if you need that. July, that is the minimum precipitation. So, whereabouts would you say that is? Is that around in the middle of 1 and 2? Or a little bit lower?
Yeah, about 1 and 2.
About the middle of 1 and 2? Okay, so that is 1.5. And what is the measurement that we're using for precipitation?
Inches.
Inches. That's 1.5 inches of precipitation. And that happened in July. Now, the other thing that we need, so this will be our Precip minimum. That'll probably be helpful for later. Right over here, it's helpful for later. Then, what we need is the max temperature. The max temperature. Well, we already got the max temperature, which is right up here, which is 65 degrees. Sorry for not putting those up. Degrees. And what term are we using for our degrees?
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. Cool. Okay, so now you really need to find that longitudinal range. So here's what we're doing. So now how we're going to use both of these numbers right here is we're going to subtract 65 and 1.5. Now that comes out to 63.5. Now, that's not all we're doing yet, unfortunately. So, what we're going to have to do with this number is we're going to have to divide that by 2. Which, do you know what that one is?
No.
Okay. Now, that number is 31.75. Right along the edge there. That is the latitudinal range. Right there. Now, what is the next thing that you need?
I need to find the precipitation minimum.
Well, luckily enough, to find the latitudinal range, we already had to do the precipitational minimum. So what's the next thing that you need?
The precipitation max.
The maximum, okay. So January's pretty good, but I think November just has it beat. So, November, right across there, is that, you'd say that's a little bit above 4, but not right in the middle?
Yeah.
A little bit above 4, not right in the middle. So, let's say 4.25 inches, correct? We're doing this in inches?
Yep.
Inches for our Precip Max. Okay? So that's our precipitation maximum. What do you need next?
The precipitation total.
The total. So what does that mean?
You add up all the numbers.
So you need the precipitation total. So that's adding up all these months. So I did a little calculation over here, and this added to 31.15, and we're doing it in inches. So inches precip total. Now, what's one of the last things that you need?
Precipitation for each season.
For each season. So, are we able to define whether or not there are seasons in here?
Yes.
So, we at least have a hot, drier season. So, I guess we could call that summer. And we have a wetter, colder season, which lasts through right about here. And we are able to actually call these a winter. And then anywhere in between those areas is going to therefore be our spring and fall areas.
All right. Thanks, Teach. That's everything I need.
Okay. See you next time. Oh, dang it, I got another one of these. Oh, hey, Teach. Okay, so I got a climatograph.
Okay.
And I don't know how to do any of that. And I think that you should teach me.
All right. What do you want to know first?
What do I want to know first? So I probably want to know what's the difference between these bars and this red stuff.
So these green bars, they represent the precipitation over the months. And then the red line graph, it represents the temperature over the entire year.
Okay, and which side is designed to represent these?
This side is temperature, and this side is precipitation.
Okay, so now I need to do some stuff to actually get some information. I need the minimum temperature.
Okay, so the minimum temperature. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to find the lowest dot on the line. So it looks to me, I think January is the lowest.
Maybe it's December?
Well, let's if we take out our little straight edge here. Measure that up, right? Oh, it looks like January's our lowest
Okay.
at 20 degrees.
It's pretty much right at 20 there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got 20 degrees. What unit are we using?
What unit are we using? That is going to be in Celsius.
20 degrees Celsius is our lowest temperature. I take it you also want to know the highest?
I do also want to know the highest.
Well, you'll find the highest dot on the bar. Is
The
that right
highest. That does look to be right here.
there? Yeah, so let's see, what month is that? That's May.
May.
So that lines up just under 30.
Just under 30.
So let's say 29 degrees Celsius is the highest temp.
Now, unfortunately, teacher, I actually need to do a little bit of math here. I need the range of those.
Well, what you do is you take the highest number, 29, and subtract the lowest number, 20. What do you get? 9. So the range is 9 degrees.
Okay, so the range is 9 degrees, but I need to know what the average temperature is. How do you find the average?
So to find the average, you take all the numbers that it's reading and you add them up, which is 308, and then you divide them by how many numbers there are, which it's a year, so 12 months, and you get 25.5.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool. But I do need to know how many are below freezing.
Alrighty then. Well, freezing temperature is Celsius is 0, and it looks like none of them.
None of them. So write down that 0 of the months are below freezing. Okay, 0 are below freezing. Now, I do need to find something I completely don't know about. I need to find the latitudinal range.
Okay, so what you do is you take the highest temperature number, which we found was 29, and then you take the lowest precipitation number, which looks to me about negative 20 there. Okay, so to find the latitudinal range, you take the highest number for temperature and then the lowest number for precipitation, which is about 12.5 millimeters.
Well,
sorry.
What month is that on?
January.
Okay, so the lowest month is December, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what is that?
So that is 12.5 millimeters. So we take 29 minus 12.5. And do you know what that is off the top of your head?
No, I don't, but I think we could find it out. That looks to be...
Let's do the math here. That's 5. You bring down the decimal. 7. 2 minus 1 is 1. 17.5 degrees Celsius. My bad.
Okay, so that is the latitudinal range. And I was looking for the precipitation minimum, but it does look like we already got it there.
Yep, that's our precipitation minimum.
Okay, but what is the precipitation maximum?
Well, you look over here, you find the tallest bar. It looks to me to find the bar. That looks the highest. That looks to me like July. And then you take it over, and it looks just below 350. So I say what, 325?
325 does look good.
All right, so let's do 325 millimeters for precipitation as our highest. And then what else do you need to know?
What I need to know is the total of all of these numbers for the precipitation.
Well, what you do is you take all those numbers for the green bar and you add them up.
Okay, I think we need to go through a small break just to figure out what that number is. Don't you think that? So we added up all the total here. What is that number?
1,662.5.
Okay, so that is our total precipitation, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, can we see any precipitation seasons or anything specific about seasons?
Yeah, you can see right here that is the rainy season, and that right there is the dry season.
It's the drier season, but is this a little bit colder than the rest of it?
Yeah, so I'm going to say that November and December, and then January, February, and March are your winter months, and then June through the rest of the year is your summer months.
But it sort of has an inverse where the precipitation is less in the winter, but more in the summer.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much, Teach.